It is often said that prostitution is the oldest profession in the world. Nonetheless, only about 70 countries have legalized, or at least decriminalized, sex work, allowing the industry to operate openly and freely. These countries, among others, include Australia, New Zealand, Germany, the Netherlands, Colombia, Brazil, and Bangladesh. More than 100 countries consider it illegal, but there are some countries where the sale of sexual services is permitted under limited circumstances, such as in Singapore. Orchard Road, the most famous shopping street in Singapore and Asia, features 2 kilometers of malls, boutiques, restaurants, bars, hotels, and various entertainment venues. Amidst the modern buildings is Orchard Tower, an old-fashioned structure that appears quite ordinary. Here, however, life gets busy when the sun goes down. Men, in particular, come and go discreetly. It's widely known that sexual services are on offer here. Inside the building, clubs and bars cater to tourists. Clients come in to drink, eat, dance, and interact with the women here. We respect the rules of the establishment by refraining from filming, but there is an opportunity to chat with one of the women who prefers to remain anonymous for her own safety.
I just come to here just fun.
This woman explains her desire to make new friends here, and that she came to gain work experience abroad. The women working in this building come from various places, including neighbouring countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and even further afield like China or Russia. Most of them arrive here with tourist visas or work permits in the entertainment category, such as models, singers, actors, or masseuses. They come to the country to work in the entertainment industry, but it's well known that transactional sex can occur if both parties consent.
I have this don't ask, don't tell. I don't sing praises about it. There's nothing to be proud about. But I don't like people looking down on me because I know many secrets. And then it's not fair to just have one accusing finger on the sex worker without the customers sharing the blame as well, right? So I'm not the only morally corrupted person, if you want to put it that way.
Their clients vary and include locals and foreign tourists, ordinary people, and those of high social status.
They can be anybody. If I do escorting, then it will be white collar professionals. So white collar professionals are having a lot of fantasies. So I have to meet their fantasies. That's how I get my clientele. That's how I tap. This is the market for me. So they pay for the hour because they want me to zip up, right? And I don't kiss and tell anyway. I don't give out names or pictures. I just tell you what happened, what took place.
The establishments inside this building operate as clubs and bars, but sometimes illegal sex services are offered. This is why police occasionally conduct raids here. Singapore remains one of the majority of countries in the world where the sex trade is still officially illegal. Shady businesses have not entirely disappeared, though. Some concessions are made to address what is a social reality.
So there are some exceptions to this rule. Okay, there are some brothels in places like Geylang that are allowed to operate. So they have permission from the government to run a brothel, to recruit women from other countries to come and work as sex workers in Singapore.
Denying the existence of this ancient profession would be pointless. So the law here provides exceptions. Specifically, the sale of sexual services can only occur under specified conditions and in specific areas. The regulations stipulate that sex workers must obtain a license from the police. Only women from 4 countries are eligible for such licenses: Thailand, Vietnam, China, and Malaysia, except for Muslim women. Another important condition is that business must only be done in designated areas. That is here, Geylang, Singapore's only legalized red light district. During the day, it may not differ much from other typical shopping areas. There are shops, food centres and lots of people, both men and women. When night falls, though, some alleys on both sides of the street where these services are located will be illuminated with colourful lights to indicate the nature of their business. Singapore acknowledges that the sex trade cannot be stopped entirely. Instead, some pragmatic exemptions are provided for certain groups of people to engage in sex work. Now that we wish to visit such places, it's best to have someone in the industry to guide us. We meet Sherry Sherqueshaa, a sex worker in Singapore.
So I'm very interested in 2 locations here in Singapore, which is rather special. I want to get to know a little bit more. And
According to the current regulations, Sherry lacks the qualifications to be a legal sex worker, because the trade here is exclusively reserved for women from those 4 countries, which do not include Singaporean nationals or transgender individuals.
Now, last time I'm 27, so maybe 7 years ago, I would feel awkward, I would feel shy if people look at me. But now I don't care anymore. I can show my breast or anything, and I don't feel, what if he look at me? I don't care anymore. Last time I would cover up, I look down, but now I don't care anymore.
Though Singapore has made huge economic strides, it remains a relatively conservative society with stringent Eastern values. Acceptance of diverse sexual orientations and gender identities remains very limited. Sherry doesn't have many options in terms of professions, as most employers refuse to hire her, leading to her engaging in the sex trade, despite its illegality.
In Geylang, there is a legal brothel, and there's places for the unlicensed. Like me, I'm not licensed to do sex.
you're not licensed.
No.
So
you know
you
that
have to be careful.
Yes, I have to be very careful. Yeah, but now I know what to do if police come to me. I know what to say, and my friend, everyone that unlicensed now, know what to say. Because
Why can't you become licensed sex worker?
firstly, because I'm a Muslim, and a licensed sex worker, they don't take Malay Muslim.
As we are interviewing Sherry, she still works in the sex industry. So we have an opportunity to document her life in Geylang. It takes just half an hour by bus to reach her workplace. Tonight, Geylang is bustling. The buildings retain their distinctive Sino-Portuguese style. Some alleys where these services are offered are lit up. People sell food and goods, making a living as usual. Walking down some alleys, however, we find scenes unlike those seen in any other place in Singapore.
This is the street that have a brothel.
Yes.
That is a brothel?
Yeah, if you see the room or house that got blinking light or red color light, that's the licensed brothel.
So it's legal.
The women are inside. You cannot see them. The door will be closed, so only men can go in to see the woman. If you want, you take them. If you don't, you can just go.
Brightly coloured neon lights decorating the fronts of houses serve as the symbols of licensed sex establishments. The women who work here don't come out to solicit or invite custom. Instead, all transactions, negotiations and activities occur discreetly within the premises. Access is strictly limited to clients only. Therefore, we must observe the atmosphere and operations through the experiences of those who've been inside.
So there's various types of licensed brothels. Some of them are very beautiful, right? They have like glass panels, they have a water fountain, they have nice lighting, neon lighting. It makes it look very, very beautiful. And then some that are a bit older, there's like no TV, there's no Wi-Fi, there's just maybe an old table and some really old rooms. So there's a range of brothels.
The exemption allowing sex work here comes with numerous rules, to which workers must adhere, including being at least 18 years old, holding a work permit, working within designated hours, and undergoing monthly health checks, among others. A work permit is valid for only 2 years. Upon expiration, the workers must leave the country and are not permitted to return. This also entails a prohibition on dating or engaging in relationships with Singaporean men.
According to the Ministry of Manpower's guidelines, foreign workers must seek permission from Ministry of Manpower before they can marry a Singaporean person.
But they're not marrying, they're just dating.
Dating is like one step towards getting married, right? They don't want it to end up being about marriage, you see. So if you stop the dating, then the marriage won't happen.
These regulations are adhered to in exchange for safety at work, as they're protected by the law. Sherry has to work outside legal establishments because she is categorized as engaging in illegal prostitution. Unlicensed sex workers of various ages loiter on the roadside, gesturing or signaling to passers-by. We observe quietly as Sherry begins her work. The corner she works is shadowy and people passing by are few and far between. Several hours pass as she waits for clients. It appears to be a quiet night for her. She attempts to smile, greet and gesture to attract clients. Some people who walk by return to negotiate. It seems, though, that they cannot agree on a deal. Tonight might not be Sherry's night. It is a dichotomy, because while society may not openly accept it, there exists a demand for commercial sexual services. That is how Sherry can remain a sex worker, with a significant portion of the clients being Singaporean men. Sherry never hides her transgender identity, either from clients or the locals, and spends most of the time here patronizing a nearby hawker centre, making a living in this neighbourhood. So many people here are familiar with Sherry.
I know a lot. Very nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So, okay. You know her?
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
famous.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Me, when I'm doing sex work, it's only here. I don't do anywhere else. I don't do in Orchard, in Bugis. I don't just go around shopping and I do sex work. No. Sex work for me is only in Geylang and that's it. So no sex work while I'm shopping, while I'm eating, people come to me. No, I don't take.
Engaging in such illegal sex work is undoubtedly risky, as police often conduct crackdowns. Typically, when they arrive, both women and transgender people who are waiting for clients flee in panic, as severe penalties await if caught.
I have to be very smart. I should know who is a customer, who is a police officer. I should know. I know. Yeah, so I have to be very careful.
If you want to see more great content from all over the world, please like the video, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.
Singapore stands out in many respects, from its cleanliness and orderliness to stringent law enforcement and economic prosperity, advanced education, and a high-quality citizenry. Regardless of whether they are underdeveloped or developed, all countries have sex workers. The sex trade and related industries operate worldwide, generating a vast amount of revenue and having far-reaching impacts on economies and various other aspects of societies. Many countries are therefore making efforts to bring this business under legal regulation to facilitate easier management, as seen in the Netherlands. This approach aims to respect individual rights and decisions, while also tackling the causes of crime, reducing corruption, and protecting the rights and health of sex workers. Typically, countries that criminalize the sex trade often also prioritize moral and societal values. They believe that unrestricted openness violates morality, promotes immoral values, diminishes human dignity, reduces individuals to mere commodities, and even facilitates human trafficking. Singapore, though, appears to embrace both sides.
Right? These brothels, everything happens behind closed doors. You don't see the women on the streets. The women are not allowed to be on the streets. And so it doesn't look bad on Singapore. But if they completely legalize it, then it would look bad on Singapore, right? When we have to uphold certain Asian values, we are a conservative society, we cannot be seen endorsing these kinds of immoral activity. So we have this half-half kind of approach of illegal with some exceptions.
While sex work is permitted in Singapore on a limited basis, many people in the industry argue that this comes with overly stringent restrictions. From the limited 2-year working period to regulations regarding accommodation, working hours, attire, and personal relationships, sex workers face numerous constraints. Consequently, many choose to operate independently and engage in illegal activities.
I don't want to be licensed.
You don't want to be
I don't want.
licensed. Why?
Because I heard stories where you have to work 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. It depends on your boss. So if my boss tells me to work 10 hours, I have to work 10 hours. And then if I'm being paid one customer $15, I have to share maybe 10%, 20%.
We've asked the sex workers, right? Do you prefer the legal method or do you prefer the illegal method? And there's no one answer. Some people like the licensed brothels, right? They like that, there's a button in their room that they can press, and then if anything happens to the customer is violent, they have help. But some of them say, no, I have to submit my name to the government. What if I get exposed as a sex worker? I have a record for life that I am a sex worker. What happens if my family finds out? Exactly.
Safety comes at a cost. It often entails sacrificing freedom because one strictly follows the rules. In legal establishments, wages are not received in full, as they must be split with the venue owner. Therefore, many opt for unregistered work, which provides more freedom, but carries the risk of harm from clients or police intervention. While legalization brings with it stringent regulations, operating illegally is unsafe. The debate over which approach is better continues among those working in this industry.
So what we want is not fully to be controlled by the government like the way it is now, like submitting documents and blah, 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 all these things. It's too restrictive, right? But being illegal is not great either, right? Every day you watch your bag, sometimes the police stop you and search you and they take your condoms away from you. So that is problematic also, right? And sometimes police officers can be very rude to them and they feel very upset about it. So we want to find a middle ground. Let's regulate the industry like any other industry, right? Make sure that there are health and safety rules and regulations for the industry. Maybe regulate certain areas that can operate brothels or can operate hotels that are for sex workers. And these brothels or hotels can have special measures to protect these sex workers.
Even after the scrutiny, you get to meet some jerks and then some, like, I don't like rude people. Yeah, it's not about it's not about the money. It's about how comfortable I am with you.
The bustling nightlife in Geylang is distinct from elsewhere in Singapore. It serves as a workplace for a specific group of individuals. reflecting a societal necessity and reality, the existence of which even the most hard-line governments in the world cannot deny. The issue of legalizing the sex trade has been a long-standing and contentious topic, perhaps for as long as this profession has existed. Supporters argue for the rights, welfare and safety of sex workers, aiming to reduce criminal activities. Opponents argue against moral violations, claim that it promotes unethical values and diminishes human dignity. Singapore chooses partial legalization, which is strictly regulated. Whether it's completely forbidden, partially allowed or fully open, the sex trade will doubtless continue to exist, with consequences, both satisfactory and unsatisfactory. The outcomes depend on each society's stance and approach to managing this issue.